Welcome to our countdown of the world's most dangerous travel destinations. These places are not for the faint-hearted, so buckle up as we take you on a thrilling journey. From war-torn landscapes to regions plagued by natural disasters, we'll be exploring the corners of the globe where danger lurks at every turn. Here, in the cradle of civilization, a tragic tale unfolds. Syria, once a vibrant hub of culture and history, is now ravaged by conflict. Travel in Syria is fraught with danger. The constant threat of violence, kidnappings and bombings makes it a no-go zone for even the most seasoned adventurers. The Syrian people, known for their warmth and hospitality, are caught in the crossfire. Millions have been displaced, their lives torn apart by the unrelenting violence. The future of Syria remains uncertain, shrouded in a veil of conflict and despair. Afghanistan, a land of rugged mountains and ancient traditions, has long been synonymous with conflict and instability. For travelers, Afghanistan presents a multitude of dangers. The Taliban's resurgence has plunged the country back into turmoil, and the threat of terrorism looms large. Kidnappings and attacks on foreigners are a constant worry, making travel here a risky gamble. The Afghan people, known for their resilience and spirit, have endured decades of hardship. Yet, beneath the surface of conflict, lies a rich culture and a deep-rooted sense of hospitality. The future of Afghanistan hangs in the balance, and the hope for peace remains a distant dream for its weary people. Somalia, the Horn of Africa, is a land of stark beauty, but its pristine coastline belies a dangerous reality. For years, Somali pirates have terrorized the high seas, hijacking ships and holding crews hostage for ransom. The threat of piracy has crippled international shipping lanes, driving up costs and disrupting trade. But piracy is just one facet of Somalia's complex web of problems. The country has been plagued by civil war and terrorism for decades. Amidst this chaos, the Somali people struggle to survive. Chapter 4: North Korea. The Enigma of Isolation. North Korea, shrouded in secrecy and ruled by an iron fist, remains an enigma to the outside world. Its isolationist policies and unpredictable behavior make it one of the most dangerous and inaccessible countries for travelers. Tourism in North Korea is strictly controlled, with visitors closely monitored by government minders. Any deviation from approved itineraries or criticism of the regime can have serious consequences, including detention or imprisonment. Despite the risks, some intrepid souls are drawn to North Korea's mystique, but venturing into this hermit kingdom is not for the faint of heart. Chapter 5: Venezuela, Descent into Crisis. Venezuela, once a thriving South American nation blessed with vast oil reserves, has been crippled by a devastating economic crisis. Hyperinflation, food shortages, and political instability have turned this once prosperous country into a shadow of its former self. The collapse of law and order has led to a surge in violent crime, including armed robberies, kidnappings, and murders. The economic meltdown has left millions struggling to afford basic necessities. Hospitals lack essential medicines and equipment, and malnutrition rates have skyrocketed. Many have fled their homes, seeking refuge in neighboring countries, desperate to escape the hardship and uncertainty that grip their homeland. Chapter 6: Yemen, a nation held hostage. Yemen, located on the southern tip of the Arabian Peninsula, is a land of ancient history and stunning landscapes. Its rich cultural heritage and diverse geography make it a unique and fascinating place. From the ancient skyscrapers of Shibam to the bustling port city of Aden, Yemen's beauty is undeniable. But for years this beautiful country has been ravaged by a brutal civil war, transforming it into a humanitarian catastrophe. The once vibrant cities now lie in ruins, and the streets that were once filled with life are now scenes of devastation. The conflict, fueled by regional rivalries and internal power struggles, has plunged Yemen into chaos. The Houthi rebels, backed by Iran, and the Yemeni government, supported by a Saudi-led coalition, are locked in a deadly struggle for control. Airstrikes, shelling, and ground fighting have killed thousands of civilians and displaced millions more. Families are torn apart, and communities are shattered. The relentless violence has left a deep scar on the nation. The country's infrastructure lies in ruins, and access to basic services like healthcare and clean water is severely limited. Hospitals are destroyed and water systems are damaged, making everyday survival a struggle for the Yemeni people. For travelers, Yemen is an absolute no-go zone. The rich history and cultural sites that once attracted visitors from around the world are now abandoned and inaccessible. The constant threat of violence, kidnappings, and bombings makes it impossible to guarantee safety. Armed groups roam the streets, and the risk of being caught in the crossfire is ever present. The humanitarian crisis in Yemen is one of the worst in the world. Malnutrition is rampant, and children are the most vulnerable. Humanitarian aid is a lifeline, but it is often hindered by the ongoing conflict, leaving many without the help they desperately need. Libya, a North African nation with a rich history, is known for its ancient civilizations and cultural heritage. The country is also home to vast oil reserves which have been both a blessing and a curse. Since the overthrow of Muammar Gaddafi in 2011, Libya has been grappling with instability and conflict. The power vacuum left by Gaddafi's fall has turned the country into a battleground for rival factions vying for control. This struggle for dominance has left Libya deeply divided, with different regions controlled by various groups, posing significant risks for travelers and locals alike. The absence of a strong central government has created a security vacuum, making it difficult to establish law and order. This vacuum has allowed militias and armed groups to flourish, each with their own agendas and territories. Clashes between these factions are commonplace, often erupting in urban areas and causing significant damage. These conflicts frequently result in civilian casualties and widespread displacement, forcing many to flee their homes. The threat of terrorism is also high, with extremist groups taking advantage of the chaos. Groups like ISIS have exploited the instability to establish a foothold, further complicating the security situation. For those venturing into Libya, the risks are manifold, ranging from armed conflict to terrorism. Despite these challenges, Libya possesses immense potential, with its scenic coastlines and ancient ruins offering a glimpse into its rich past. Chapter 8: Central African Republic, a cycle of violence. The Central African Republic, a landlocked nation in the heart of Africa, has been trapped in a cycle of violence and instability for decades. Armed groups vying for control of resources and territory terrorize civilians with impunity. Massacres, sexual violence, and the recruitment of child soldiers are horrifying realities for many communities. For travelers, venturing into the Central African Republic is fraught with danger. The risk of becoming caught in the crossfire, kidnapped, or robbed is extremely high. Despite the immense challenges, there are glimmers of hope for the Central African Republic. Chapter 9: Iraq, Scars of War. Iraq, a nation steeped in history and home to ancient civilizations, has been scarred by decades of conflict and instability. From the ancient Mesopotamian empires to the Abbasid Caliphate, Iraq has been a cradle of human civilization, yet the modern era has brought relentless turmoil. From the Iran-Iraq War to the US-led invasion in 2003 and the rise of ISIS, Iraq has endured cycles of violence that have devastated its people and infrastructure. The scars of these conflicts are visible everywhere, from the shattered buildings to the grieving families. While significant progress has been made in recent years in combating ISIS and restoring a degree of stability, the security situation remains fragile. The Iraqi military, along with international allies, has worked tirelessly to reclaim territories and rebuild. Terrorist attacks, bombings, and sectarian violence still occur, particularly in Baghdad and other major cities. These incidents serve as grim reminders of the ongoing challenges that Iraq faces in its quest for peace. For travelers, Iraq poses significant risks. The allure of its rich history and culture is often overshadowed by the dangers that lurk in its streets. The threat of terrorism, kidnapping, and getting caught in the crossfire is real. Security forces are a constant presence, working to protect both locals and visitors. Despite the challenges, Iraq is a country of immense potential. Its scenic landscapes, rich cultural heritage, and resilient people offer hope for a brighter future. However, achieving lasting peace and stability will require a concerted effort to address the root causes of conflict. Only through unity, understanding, and sustained international support can Iraq hope to heal its scars and build a prosperous future for its people. Chapter 10: South Sudan, a nation divided. South Sudan, the world's youngest nation, has been plagued by civil war and ethnic violence since its independence in 2011. A power struggle between rival factions plunged the country into chaos, resulting in a humanitarian catastrophe that has displaced millions and left countless others facing starvation. The conflict in South Sudan is characterized by horrific human rights abuses, including massacres, sexual violence, and the recruitment of child soldiers. For travelers, South Sudan is an extremely dangerous destination. The risk of becoming caught in the crossfire, kidnapped, or robbed is extremely high. Despite the immense challenges, there are glimmers of hope for South Sudan. Outro: tread carefully. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the world's most dangerous travel destinations. Remember, safety should always be your top priority when planning your travels. While the allure of adventure may be strong, it's crucial to thoroughly research your destination, stay informed about potential risks, and take necessary precautions to ensure your well-being. By choosing to travel responsibly and respectfully, we can contribute to a safer and more sustainable future for all. Stay safe and see you in the next video.